Hi, this is Joe Lindsley. Welcome to our Land of the Free podcast, recorded here in the studios of Ukrainska Pravda, Ukrainian Truth. And I'm excited to share my interview done outside of the studio with Topolia. He's one of Ukraine's top rock stars, lead singer of the band Antytila, which means antibodies. And during the time of Russia's full-scale invasion, Taras has been working as a medic in the front lines. He's also sang in the Kyiv Metro with the likes of U2. And so he's got some amazing stories about resistance and music and creativity in a time of war. Here is my conversation with Taras Topolia of the band Antytila.
This is the land of the free. Stories of life and liberty in a time of war.
Taras, there's one of your songs from before the full-scale invasion that there's a music video, Kino, and when I see that video and I hear that song, and I shared this with the American audience a few weeks ago. To me, that you filmed it in the Oleshki Sands. I think that's where you filmed it, and an area that's now under threat from the Russian destruction of the Novokharkova Dam. And when I see that video, I saw first time I ever came to Ukraine was 2018. I saw this vibrant, amazing country with a free spirit and innovation and creativity and a happiness. And so many Americans who've come here to volunteer, they say they feel happier here, even in the war, than they do back in America. And when I look at that video, the music video for it, to me, it somehow encapsulates the spirit of what Ukraine was during those years from the Revolution of Dignity up until February 24th, 2022. You had this beautiful country, you have this amazing creativity, and in that song, you sing, these words: just little people, tilki malinki lude, taki sujet, and that's when you were writing that song and filming it. Were you thinking? I mean, Russia had already invaded part of your country. Were you thinking that something like this could happen, or is that just me reading too much into that now as I look at it in the time of full-scale war?
First of all, I want to say thank you for discovering Ukraine. Thank you for digging inside our culture, for discovering our spirit, our roots, and etc. So I'm very appreciating it. So we have really very interesting history, and we have really very long and deep roots. Our nation has really freedom spirit, and we definitely always fight for our freedom, because we have this spirit that you described before. So you felt it, and it became a part of you, I hope, also. So if to talk about Oleshkivsky Science and that video that names movie in Ukrainian Kino, that was filmed a couple of years ago there in Kherson region. Yeah, definitely it has a lot of senses, and what we wanted to say by this video, I don't want to interpretate, using my thoughts. You should to interpret it by yourself, but it definitely has a lot of senses. So you marked those words like little people, and like we're just a little people in this story. Yeah, просто маленькі люди, просто такий сюжет. Like we're just a little people in this storyline, but the main in this song, the main words are who we are and what is the reason. So we will recognize it only if we will be together. So the main word is together. In Ukrainian, it sounds like razom. So the main message of this song is that we should to be together, and if we will be together, we will recognize everything, why it was, why it happens, and why it will happen, why something will happen. Because if we will be together, we will like decoding the sense of like eternal sense of our being of Ukrainian being nation. So I believe, I know that our nation has its own mission. So, but what is the mission and how we should to realize it? We will recognize it if only we will be together, if only we will be united. So this is the main message of this song.
There was such a free, open, happy, and innocent spirit that I felt here. And the words you just quote, your words that you just quoted, who are we and what is the reason here? We'll find an answer together. And I think, during when I talk with other friends who are creative people in Ukraine, and I have a friend, a great jazz musician, who says during those 8 years after Maidan, it was an opening. You felt opportunity. But everyone felt that would come to an end. And it seems that when that moment, from the early hours of February 24th, is when maybe everyone began to find that reason. You were forced to. You had to work together. And do you think that is that a fair assessment? Do you think that did something change? I mean, of course, Russia had already invaded in 2014, but did something change in the psyche of you and the people around you on February 24th, 2024?
No, nothing changed inside of me, and me, my friends, my colleagues, musicians from Antytila band, we understood everything, almost everything into 014. We understood that Russia, it is the enemy, and we understood that this war, we understood that it's for a long time. Like it's not like something fast and like a flash. It will be a long story with a long Ukrainian resistance. So we understood everything in that time because we started to volunteer. We started to support Ukrainian army from the first day, like not full scale invasion, but from the first day of that war that started on the Donbass into 014, when Russia annexed Crimea and started the war on the Donbass. So, but be frankly, a lot of Ukrainian people understood, clearly understood that Russia is enemy only when the full-scale invasion started. And it also is like very essential, very important period of Ukrainian modern history, because Russian invasion, Russian aggression, it consolidates Ukrainian nation. It makes us come together and fight together against the enemy. So I hope that a lot of people, mostly from the east of Ukraine, that were complementary to the Russian politics, to the Russian people, they understood everything. When the bombs started to like when they received the Russian bombs in their cities from the sky, I think that they understood everything, I hope. But we will see how it will be, everything, after we will get this victory. I think that we have forward, we have a long way to reborn. Our nation must reborn, because so many things were broken before the war started, and war also broke a lot of things. So when we will get this victory, we must like reborn and rebuild our country. But I think not rebuild, but build the brand new country. And then during this process, like brand new country, we will see, does everyone understood everything? Like, does it work? I don't know.
The world has been hearing about Ukraine every day, more or less, for 16 months almost. But I still think a lot of people don't understand very simply what the Maidan Revolution was. What was the Revolution of Dignity, and why? So, to you, why is that important? And what did that? I mean, were you there in Maidan? And what is Maidan? What is that revolution in 2014? Why does that matter in the history of Ukraine? Why does that matter today?
Because it's a part of one long chain of Ukrainian way to the freedom. You know, we just step by step, we're breaking the chains. And we were in jail, in Russian jail, in Soviet Union jail. And everything started from everything started long time ago. But if we talk about like modern history, everything started for me like from the day of when we got the independence in 1991. And after that, it was a long time. A lot of things happened. It was Orange Revolution in 2004. Then the Revolution of Dignity happened, and then we pushed out our president, and Russia's annexed Crimea and started the war in Donbass. And you know, it's like a blocks of one. It's like a part of one chain. So we are moving forward to our really not fake freedom, but really freedom. And if some people don't understand the meanings of Revolution of Dignity, if some people don't understand the value of Revolution of Dignity, for now I have no words to say to them, because I think that you should clearly understand why it happened. And if you don't understand now, after this 1.5 year of full-scale invasion, I have no words what to say to them. Only that those people who don't understand the value of Revolution of Dignity, those people for me are like kind of stupid people, because for me it's so clear that we should, that in that time it was so important to do this. It was so important in that period to stand for the freedom, for the human rights, for the common values with Western world, European world. And in that time it was only one way for me and my generation where to move. We want to move in Europe, and we were fighting for this on the square. And we started this revolution just because Russia in that time and our pro-Russian president started to play their own game that were not comparable with will of the nation, with our desire of the generation. So that's why we started this protest. And this protest that finally became like a revolution, it was very important part of our resistance against Russian invasion, like undisclosed and disclosed invasion in our country.
Taras, because I know there's unfortunately, there's a lot of American skeptics, including people in the Congress, and so we want to reach these people, but who think that somehow they can't believe, I think, that something as extraordinary as that revolution actually happened, that people could actually decide they wanted to be free and to really claim it. Could you, especially as an artist, as someone that tells the story of your nation through music and lyrics, could you describe what was there after Maidan? So in 2014, 2015, and so on, was there a new spirit that you could feel? Is there some tangible difference you felt as a result of that, like even a new confidence for you yourself and for the country? Or how would you describe the spirit after that revolution?
It was very difficult time. Not so difficult like now, but in that time we had a big expectation. We had a big expectations when everything started, when the revolution started, when this protest started. But then step by step, everything became more and more bloody, and a lot of people gave their lives for this common dream to be a part of freedom world. So, and when our president, former president Yanukovych, left the country, and new government started to work, and parliament started to work in a different way, it was kind of hope that now everything will change. But as we see, Russia started the war on Donbass, Russia started the Crimea annexation, and we opened a new page of Ukrainian history, the page of covered war. When the Russians were telling that they don't taking a part in this, but they took a part in this war, and they sent their ammunition, weapons, and everything to the rebels, to the separatists, in the Donbass. So I cannot say that our spirit was so high in that time, because a lot of particularly we were confused what is happening around and what to do, especially my generation, young people. And when the war on the Donbass started, it was everything happened step by step, revolution of dignity, and then war on the Donbass, and everything is happening, And first 2 years we were running forward like a marathon, because every day I was doing something with my colleagues. We were gathering money. We were trying to find everything to give to our army, to our friends that were fighting on the front line. So I cannot say that we were that our spirit was uplift because we realized this revolution. We were confused a little bit. So, but if I'm looking back and trying to analyze everything that we have done, it was right, because somebody should do this. Somebody should to fix this problem called Russia. And for now, what we are doing, we are fixing mistakes of our previous generation, and we're paying a very bloody price, but we should to do this. So for those politicians who are being in skeptics, especially for American politicians, I want to ask them just to imagine themselves in my place. So what should I do when somebody came and want to kill my family, me, what should I do? I should resist, and I should to kill first. So I'm not asking a lot. My country not asking a lot. We're just asking to help to resist. We're not attacking uh, another country. We're just fighting for our freedom and trying to resist our future. That trying to uh, resist Russian aggression and to make somehow to get our freedom future. So that's all. So just imagine that you are on our place, and I think it will change your mind. It will change your position. For now, I'm talking to those American politicians who are in skepsis. But of course, it is real politics, and it's a real big game, and Ukraine is part of this big game. I understand this, but I'm a people, like I'm a citizen of my country, and what I should to do, I should to help my country to survive.
As you say,
That's
prosto malenki lude, toki, prosto tilki susha, just little people.
because I know that there is some kind of politics that like don't believe in human values; they believe in real politics. So, and I'm not a kind like this politicals. I'm just a small man who is trying to do my best to save my country.
Well, and when you were giving the imagery of the first couple years after Maidan, like it was a marathon, and say turn a new page. I think also of your song, the English version of your song, "And You Start," which I was curious that song. When do you recall? When did you produce that song? That was not long before the full scale invasion?
Not long before the war started.
Because as I watch it, so Americans, especially the Americans, for example, like Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, these Americans that have very big audiences, they've been skeptical about Ukraine, but these guys on their shows every day they're talking about human excellence. Take the ice bath in the morning and live your this 10x top version of life. And here in Ukraine, what I've seen every single day of the full scale war is people living, as you say in that song, be the best version of yourself for tomorrow. And when I hear that song and you start, that is it's such a song that as an American it resonates with me. It's a song about and you have these words. You say, "I'm going to fight for your freedom." You have the imagery of that girl running on the track and passing people who are struggling in different ways. There's a guy carrying the cross, and that's what I felt in Ukraine. That I feel like with so many of the foreigners who've come here, they came here to help, but it's helped them. It's helped them find their purpose, find a better way to live, and so even though that song was released before the full scale invasion, I think it resonates a lot with me in these moments, and I think it shows this. It actually is a very American spirit that we think is American that maybe we've forgotten a little bit. And I would love it if people like Joe Rogan and others would speak with people like you who have, I mean, because Taras, you signed up as a soldier, correct?
Yeah.
And when did you do that? That was on the early days of the full scale invasion, right?
It was before
Before
the full scale.
Several years, yeah.
No, it was like 1 month before the war started.
Mm-hmm.
We understood that the full scale war will start, and we became soldiers of 130 Battalion of Territorial Defense Forces in Kyiv. Me, my friends and colleagues of Antytila band, me, Sergio Vusic, and Dmitry Zholud, we became soldiers a little bit earlier than the war started. We like swap our instruments to the rifles, and when the war started, from the first day of the war, we started to serve. We came to our base and started to serve as a paramedical squad. So I know how to stop the blood. I know how to give the first aid. I know how to transportate the wounded, injured soldiers from the trenches, from the battlefield to the stabilizational point. And we definitely did this. We were on the war for 1 year. Our first mission was in Kyiv, where our battalion was defending Kyiv. And after that, our battalion was replaced from the Kyiv to Kharkiv region. And we were working definitely on the front line in Kharkiv. You can ask Sergio, he will send to you maybe some videos, some materials, what we were doing on the front line. And finally, in August last year, our chief in commander, Valery Zaluzhny, he like extracted us from the front line back to the stage. We to work, we to sing, we to share, spread the information about Ukrainian war among European audience and American audience. So yeah, I know what is war. I saw it. I breathe the smell like of blood and explosions and etc. And in our battalion for now, it's more than 45 kids that Russian killed their fathers. It was our brother in arms, so we took a responsibility for those kids. And our foundation is working also to give to those kids everything that they need.
For example, the video where you were in the Kyiv Metro singing with Bono, and you know, I forget singing some classic song in the Kyiv Metro. So you've been in horrible situations, dealing with people on the edge of death or dying, trying to save their lives, you know, under bombing and attacks. And then you've also had these, you know, I mean, moments that probably seem surreal to be in the metro in Kyiv singing with Bono. As an artist, as a Ukrainian, as a citizen, as a person, as an artist, as a soldier, what do you feel? What is your specific, if you, maybe you can't define this, I don't know, but what is your specific mission, do you feel, or in you know, every day when you wake up? You know, because as I ask this question, I'm thinking of that. I love that song so much, And You Start. It's such a motivational song. Yeah.
You know, first of all, to be our mission, like to be equal to what we're singing about. If we're singing about like freedom, if we're singing about internal strength, internal power, so we should to realize it. We should to show how to do this. So when the war started, we became soldiers because we are citizens of Ukraine, and also we are singers. We're like a role model for a lot of people. So first of all, our mission is like to be comparable with all that we're thinking about, because it's lie. It's not true when you're singing about like about strength, about power, about will to move and to achieve something. If you're singing about like something that is not comparable to you, it means that you are fake. You are not like real. You're just nothing. So first of all, mission of Ukrainian artists in this hard time is to be equal to everything that they are singing. Also Antytila. I'm talking about Antytila first of all. And the second mission is to show what to do if. So what to do if enemy come to your country what you should do, what you must to do. And also we were acting from the first day of the war. We were acting every day. When we get an opportunity, we spoke with a lot of journalists, with a lot of European journalists, United States journalists, and our purpose was to share, to deliver the truth, the Ukrainian truth about this war. And I gave like more than 100 interviews during this war. Interviews like this, like you are interviewing me, and I'm very appreciating that you are doing this, because it is like another one small drop to our ocean of truth, you know. So it is also was my mission and still being my mission. And also using the songs and like creativity tools to share the essential message to the European audience, as it was with Ed Sheeran, as it was with Bono. So we used this opportunity to speak to the war, and it was very useful, especially like when Bono came, it caused really huge impact.
This is not just a war about territory or sovereignty. It's a war about decency and dignity, confronting domination and darkness. And we want decency and dignity to win for all of us. And that's why we're here.
We still been in connection with Bono and his team, and we sometimes we speaking using like phones, sometimes we texting the messages to each other, and he's supporting Ukraine, and I think it's very important. It's very useful for Ukraine, first of all.
Taras, when you sing in that song, in the English version, you know, and you start, when you say I'm going to fight for your freedom, had you already signed up at that point as a soldier, or that was before?
No, it was before, but you know, our fans telling us that we made a lot of predictions. And I respond to them that we as a creative persons, like, as we feel a little bit earlier and deeper what is happening, and not only just for our freedom, but for freedom of whole Europe, because we clearly understand that if we will not stop Russians here in Ukraine, they will come to Europe.
And I think even, you know, as people, as I say it as an American, but what I've seen here, listening to the songs and then seeing the way people fight, the way people, for example, all the volunteers that have rushed down to Hersol and to help. I hope that, you know, I've hoped that could inspire Americans to take, you know, not to take our freedom for granted and to use it well. And when so many musicians, Taras, with whom I've spoken, especially musicians, but artists in general, the first days of the full-scale invasion, they couldn't pick up their instruments. They couldn't make art. And many people, it took weeks or months. What was the first, if you want to answer this, what was the first song you played, even if it was just by yourself, after February 24? I mean, it sounds like you were already well prepared for this and focused. But what was the first song you sang after the full-scale invasion?
I don't remember. I don't remember, because we were serving. We get first wounded and killed soldiers in our battalion at first week of this war. So we started to work as a paramedics like from the first days. So it was no time to sing songs. No, it was no time to create something. But finally, in March of last year, yeah, we created this joint song with Ed Sheeran. It names To Step. I think it was the first song that we released from the first day of the war.
Well, and Taras, that I appreciate this conversation, and I'll quote one more line from one of your songs, but this the new page of the story without sorrow. You know, there is this. I mean, as dark as it gets, you know, and I think that's one thing that I've seen. Everyone is suffering here in different ways, but the way Ukrainians, especially sort of led by people like you, led by the artist, you're able to share your stories and your sufferings and talk about it. And that's, I think Ukraine is the best self-help book. It shows people how to be resilient in a way that you know, the rest of the world can only dream about right now.
That we will fight till the end. That we will not give our country to Russian hands. No matter what will be the price, because if we will not get the victory in this war, we will not exist. So we are fighting for our existence. This is the main message.
Razom do permolhe, and дякую, man.
І слава Україні!
Героям слава!
Best version of you for tomorrow.